Something seismic is stirring behind closed doors in BEREA, and it's not just the quarterback competition that's causing ripples. Whispers of a potential trade are gaining volume, one that could not only reshape the Cleveland Browns secondary, but reverberate all the way to the front office. I've got all the intel, but before we dive in, tap that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you still back Andrew Berry's vision, or is it time for a fresh start at the top? Let's talk Greg Newsome too, the former first-round selection in 2021, once hailed as a future star in Cleveland's defensive backfield. Yes, the same Newsome who electrified fans with a 34-yard pick sixth off Lamar Jackson just 2 seasons ago, reminding the league why he was drafted 26th overall. Fast forward to now, he's not just battling for a starting role, he's fighting to keep his place on the roster. And the Philadelphia Eagles are circling, already stacked with young studs like Keely Ringo and Quinion Mitchell, and reinforced by Cooper DeJean in the slot. Philly sees Newsome as a potential chess piece, a versatile weapon who brings 1,428 snaps on the boundary and 1,163 in the slot. That kind of flexibility is a defensive coordinator's dream. Vic Fangio could move pieces, disguise coverages, and frustrate opposing quarterbacks with ease. Yet the Browns are sending contradictory signals. They exercised Newsome's 5th-year option, locking in $13,370,000, 0 cents guaranteed, yet demoted him to CB3 on the depth chart during the 2024 campaign, a sharp fall from grace for a player once considered a cornerstone. Then came the hamstring injury, IR designation, out of sight, out of mind. So what's really unfolding here? Could the Browns be quietly shopping Newsome to free up cap space and retool a secondary that's been wildly inconsistent? Or is this just another twist in the ever-erratic decision-making saga under GM Andrew Berry? Make no mistake, Berry's seat is heating up. Analyst Jonathan Petlin didn't mince words when he called the 2025 draft Berry's redemption arc. And can you blame him? The Browns' war chest has been depleted ever since the Deshaun Watson mega trade, a deal that mortgaged the future and handcuffed the franchise financially. While Berry and Kevin Stefanski both signed extensions last offseason, another disappointing rookie class could trigger sweeping changes. Petlin went further. "We don't usually demand this much from rookies in year one," he said, "but this time we will." That's not analysis. That's a warning shot. After enduring a 3-win season, the Cleveland faithful want results, not in 3 years, not in year 4. Now, that's why the Browns can't afford another Greg Newsome situation, not when Amari Cooper has been traded away, leaving a WR room begging for a breakout star. And maybe, just maybe, they already have one. Enter Jamari Thrash. Yes, the same rookie who logged just 9 games last season and caught a mere 3 passes for 22 yards. That Jamari Thrash. According to WR's coach Chad O'Shea, Thrash has been torching defenses in offseason practices. He's had a phenomenal offseason, O'Shea said. His work ethic has put him in position for real success. That's not just coaches speak. ESPN's Daniel Oyefuzi backed it up, citing Thrash as one of the biggest risers in a suddenly wide-open receiver room. With Cooper gone and no clear WR1 in sight, Thrash could be the unexpected spark Browns fans rally around this fall. He's not just auditioning for a roster spot. He's emerging as a real contender for meaningful snaps, no matter who's under center. Speaking of quarterbacks, that room is wide open, with Deshaun Watson sidelined for most of 2025 due to an Achilles tear. It's a 4-man battle spanning every corner of the experience spectrum. On one end, the ageless Joe Flacco, a steady veteran with a Super Bowl ring and the poise to manage games in high-pressure environments. On the other, 2 rookies, Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, both intriguing in vastly different ways. And then there's the wild card, Kenny Pickett. Fans are tired of empty promises and wasted potential. They want winners. They want discipline. They demand leadership. But what happens when the most talked about rookie flashes brilliance and recklessness? Before even taking his first NFL snap, on June 5th, the Ohio State Patrol pulled over Shedeur Sanders for speeding, and not just a few miles over, he was clocked at a blistering 91 miles an hour in a 65 zone. For a rookie trying to earn trust in a new city, this was a rough introduction. The Browns were notified quickly. Their official statement downplayed the incident, calling it a personal matter, but fans weren't buying it. Was this just a rookie misstep, or a glimpse of something deeper, and then things got worse? Sanders didn't show up for his court arraignment regarding that first ticket. To long-suffering Browns fans who've endured more quarterback chaos than most franchises combined, this felt like deja vu. Sure, it's just traffic court, but when you're fighting for a spot on the depth chart and trying to build your reputation as a professional, every move matters. Then came June 17th, just days after missing that court appearance. Sanders was pulled over again, this time clocked at a staggering 101 PMPs in a 60 by Strongsville police. The story exploded across local media. Fan forums lit up. Cleveland radio hosts didn't hold back. The question was on everyone's mind. If Sanders can't manage his responsibilities off the field, how can the Browns trust him to lead on it? Ironically, these incidents came just weeks after Sanders signed his 4-year, $4,660,000 0 rookie contract. This wasn't about a $249 0 fine or even the next one looming at $250 0. This is about perception, about priorities, about character under pressure. So now we ask you, Browns Nation, do you still believe in Shedeur Sanders? Is this just immaturity that he'll outgrow? Or a red flag that can't be ignored? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications, because this story isn't over, and neither is the fight for QB1. The Cleveland Browns wide receiver situation is quietly evolving into one of the most compelling conundrums of the entire offseason, and it might be time to acknowledge a hard truth. The depth at this position could be a ticking time bomb. Let's break it down. And before jumping to conclusions, stick with me. By the end, you'll realize just how close the Browns are to making a seismic decision that could redefine their entire 2025 campaign. But first, hit that like button to stay locked in on all things Browns. We begin with Jerry Jeudy. On paper, Jeudy seems like a shrewd acquisition, scooped up for a mere 5th and 6th round pick, then re-signed before he even set foot on the practice field in BEREA. At the time, Andrew Berry's move was seen as daring, maybe even reckless. But now, it looks calculated, and it's paying dividends. Jeudy is explosive, shifty, and instinctive. If all goes according to plan, he'll be the WR1 this season. But let's have an honest moment. Jeudy isn't invincible. His history with ankle injuries in Denver raises questions. As promising as he is, even he comes with durability concerns. Now let's pivot to Cedric Tillman, and this might sting a bit. There's undeniable love for Tillman, especially from fans who watched him dominate Saturdays at Tennessee. And yes, after Amari Cooper was dealt to Buffalo last year, Tillman saw increased reps and delivered flashes, real electrifying flashes, but let's not hand him the crown just yet. That concussion he sustained against Pittsburgh, it wasn't a minor knock. It ended his season. That's a major red flag. One more blow like that, and you risk losing your WR2 for weeks, even months. And all of this optimism is built on a tiny sample size. 4 solid games don't always translate into a 17-game breakout campaign. That's a bold and dangerous assumption. After Jeudy and Tillman, the depth chart starts to fray. Mike Woods, sure, he had some exciting training camp moments, but he's coming off an Achilles tear, one of the most brutal injuries for a wide receiver to overcome. David Bell, practically a ghost last year due to a lingering hip injury. And then there's Deontay Johnson. Yes, technically he's on the roster, but let's be real. When was the last time you had any real confidence in him as a consistent contributor? He's bounced from the Ravens to the Texans, both playoff caliber teams, and couldn't stick. That's not bad luck, that's a pattern. And if he couldn't mesh with winning locker rooms, what makes anyone believe he'll suddenly fall in line in Cleveland? So here's the uncomfortable reality. If Jeudy goes down, and God forbid he does, this receiving core might not have the firepower to shoulder the load. And in a season where the Browns are clawing to stay relevant in a brutal AFC, that's a terrifying proposition. Which brings us to the heart of the matter. Should the Browns add another wide receiver? This isn't about luxury, it's about survival. Let's explore 3 names that could shift the narrative, starting with one that might surprise you. Amari Cooper. Yes, that Amari Cooper. The one they traded to Buffalo. But think about it, if the market's quiet and he sees an opening to reunite with Joe Flacco, the same quarterback who helped him post gaudy numbers last season, why wouldn't he consider coming back? For Cooper, it could be a strategic career move. Put up big stats with Flacco, hit free agency in 2026, and cash out one final time. Sure, the optics might be awkward at first, but in this league, production talks and money whispers louder. At age 30, Cooper's window is narrowing, and Cleveland might just be the best place for him to shine one more time. He may not be in his prime, but when paired with the right quarterback, Jerry Jeudy remains a lethal threat, and with Flacco, that connection is already battle-tested. Now let's talk about Gabe Davis, the second name on this short list. Formerly of the Bills and more recently a free agent after a brief stint with Jacksonville, Davis offers exactly what Cleveland needs: reliability, physicality, and field-stretching explosiveness. He's a receiver who embraces the dirty work, particularly in the blocking game, and that's an underrated asset in today's NFL. With two new running backs entering the fold via the draft, it's clear Kevin Stefanski is preparing to lean more heavily on the ground game. Pickett, once a first-rounder in Pittsburgh, is perhaps the most fascinating option. Traded from the Eagles after collecting a Super Bowl ring as a backup, he was acquired in exchange for a fifth-rounder and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Now, he's got pedigree, NFL reps, and maybe, just maybe, the trust of Stefanski. The Browns coach raised eyebrows recently, calling Pickett big, athletic, and capable of throwing from multiple launch points. And when Pickett comes off of a big pass from Ronald Pick, it's probable that's not filler. That's foreshadowing. And if you read between the lines, there's a growing sense Stefanski sees something in Pickett, a quarterback who fits his system of precision, rhythm, and matchup exploitation. But don't count out the rookies. Dillon Gabriel's quick release and vertical threat make him a tantalizing chess piece. And Shedeur Sanders. He's polarizing, yes, but his leadership, confidence, and charisma could light a fire under the entire roster. If he earns his shot, he won't just manage games, he'll change them. Only one of these men will start, two will hold clipboards. And training camp will be the crucible that determines who seizes the moment. All of this is happening under the glaring spotlight aimed at Andrew Berry, the GM who swung big, the GM who gambled it all, the GM who now faces a franchise-defining moment. But amid the turbulence, there's something real, a pulse. Jamari Thrash is making noise. Kenny Pickett might finally have the right system. And yes, even without Greg Newsome, the secondary could become one of the league's most versatile units if Cleveland's young DBs step up. It's a strange, high-stakes moment to be a Browns fan, balancing the thrill of potential with the weight of uncertainty. Every rep matters. Every throw counts. Every personnel decision could define the next 5 years. Now it's your turn, Dog Pound. Who's your pick for QB1? Should Greg Newsome stay or go? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The pace, blistering. The intensity, unmatched. This wasn't a no-contact walkthrough. This was a statement, a message to the locker room, to the rest of the league, and most importantly, to the Dog Pound. Cleveland is done playing defense. His team is building a new identity, one that throws the first punch. But underneath all this growing momentum is a brewing subplot that cannot be ignored, a storyline that's heating up just as the quarterback battle hits a boil. Enter Shedeur Sanders, the rookie whose draft journey was as turbulent as it was controversial. Once projected as a potential No. 1 overall pick, Sanders slipped all the way to the 5th round, not because of talent, but because of doubt. Concerns about his maturity, his demeanor, his adaptability, and now, that narrative just found fresh fuel. Sanders was clocked doing 101 miles per hour in a 60 zone on I-71 North near Strongsville at 12:24 a.m. A traffic ticket may not derail a career, but for a young quarterback trying to build credibility, it's a blow. Not criminal, it won't get him suspended, but it threatens the momentum he's worked so hard to establish. Fox 8 in Cleveland broke the story, and the Browns have yet to respond publicly, a silence that speaks volumes. For a player still earning trust, this is the type of misstep that lingers in film rooms and coaching evaluations. Until now, Sanders had been gaining ground, making a legitimate case with the second team, proving he belonged in the quarterback conversation. He was beginning to distance himself from the chaos of draft night. But this incident reopens old wounds and reignites the most critical question. can he mature quickly enough to lead an NFL offense? This isn't a career-ending scandal, far from it, but it is a crucial test, one that may determine how short his leash is with the coaching staff, and how much confidence he's lost or gained from teammates. And for fans who watched Deshaun Watson struggle behind a leaky offensive line last season, the thought of another quarterback conundrum isn't just frustrating, it's draining. Speaking of that O-line, there's another name you need to have on your radar, DeWand Jones. While all eyes fixate on the quarterback carousel, the true X factor this season might be the man tasked with protecting the blind side. Dalton Wasserman of PFF didn't mince words when he called out Jones, and we'll dive into that in the next segment. Banded with that label after back-to-back season-ending injuries and surrounded by a group of aging veterans, DeWand Jones now stands as Cleveland's only youthful pillar on the offensive line. His talent is undeniable, but this season it's not just about potential, it's about availability, dependability, and leadership. It must be the guy. The pressure is immense. Nathan Zagura emphasized that the organization isn't deliberately slow-rolling Sanders out of disrespect, it's all part of a methodical ascent. Until Sanders fully masters the cadence of play calling, defensive reads, and huddle management, they're keeping him in development mode. Yet, that doesn't mean they're blind to the brilliance he's already shown, outperforming Gabriel in certain sessions, and the fan base is starting to clamor for answers. Why isn't the quarterback who's executing at a higher level getting a bigger stage? There's no hidden agenda, Zagura insisted. It's not about favoritism or draft status. It's about readiness, yet the fans see it differently. Social media has transformed into a full-blown Shedeur. Every practice stat, every sideline comment, every grainy clip morphs into fuel for debate. One video of Sanders spinning the ball after a touchdown throw racked up thousands of likes within minutes. This isn't just optimism, it's hunger. Browns fans have endured decades of quarterback turmoil, and in Shedeur, many believe they're witnessing the dawn of a new era. The coaching staff, however, is carefully balancing the excitement with responsibility. Tommy Rees and Kevin Stefanski understand the heavy price of rushing a quarterback. The NFL's graveyard is littered with young passers who were handed the keys too soon. They won't do that to Sanders. Yet, every clean rep, every confident command in the huddle raises the stakes. How long can you keep your most dynamic quarterback on the sideline when he's outperforming the competition? Meanwhile, tensions are simmering beneath the surface. Dylan Gabriel, despite his higher draft slot, isn't lighting it up. Kenny Pickett, even with starting experience, hasn't separated himself. The latest developments that have ignited the internet with a whirlwind of commentary unveil a fresh hypothesis for the team. Perhaps a burgeoning fan preference, something seemingly trivial, yet surprisingly profound. It all began with a dance move, a fleeting moment that might have slipped by unnoticed in any other setting, but not in Cleveland, not within this quarterback room. In a video shared by the Browns' fifth-round draft pick Shedeur Sanders, the youngest and most scrutinized quarterback on the roster, he leaned toward the 40-year-old Joe Flacco and asked the kind of question rarely uttered in the crucible of training camp. "Have you ever done that dance move?" Flacco's reply was succinct, yet telling. "Definitely not. I don't know if I've ever danced in public in my life." That brief exchange unleashed a torrent of reactions from Browns fans, filling the comments section with laughter, appreciation, and heartwarming anecdotes. Funny uncle and his favorite nephew. "I love everything about this, and oh, they're going to make me fall in love with them together, aren't they?" But beneath the smiles and social media banter lies a brewing storm, a competition that's anything but lighthearted. Shedeur Sanders didn't arrive in Cleveland merely for the vibes. He's here to make his mark, and with names like Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett standing in his way, this is no ordinary quarterback battle. It's about the future trajectory of the franchise, the very identity of the roster, and potentially the fate of two projected high first-round picks in 2026. Before we proceed, share your thoughts in the comments. Which quarterback do you believe should lead this team? Sanders didn't just bring the legendary Sanders name to Cleveland. He carried the swagger, the charisma, the digital spotlight, but more importantly, he brought his game. During OTAs, reports began to swirl. He might be the best quarterback on the field. In the secondary reps, where the second and third units compete, Sanders reportedly completed 6 of 7 passes, while Gabriel stumbled with a 2 of 6 performance. Yet, Sanders wasn't receiving first-team reps. Analyst Nathan Zagura provided clarity. Shedeur's development isn't merely about completions or dazzling highlights. It's about conquering the playbook, commanding the huddle, deciphering pre-snap reads, and executing post-snap adjustments. Joe Flacco boasts 191 NFL starts. Kenny Pickett has 25. That operational rhythm is ingrained for them. For Sanders, it's still a learning process. But don't confuse patience for skepticism. Offensive coordinator Tommy Rees emphasized that Sanders has been relentless in his preparation. Thank you guys. See you next video.